So, you're an INFP. What does that mean? What does it mean by the math equation INFP? INFP is one of the MBTI types that is commonly stereotyped, sad, over-emotional, depressed, emo, anything you name it. These traits are highly associated with an INFP, but however, it is not what an INFP is all about. Being an INFP is all about emotions, about nature, about humanity, and about life. Us INFPs breathe this planet by using our never-ending thought processes tied to the world around us and the emotional state of ourselves as we are naturally self-reflective. Hell yeah! The ability to truly identify our actions, our morals, what we stand for, and most importantly, who we are. Although self-reflection can be pretty common, INFPs have an extremely creative way of using self-reflection to indulge themselves into creative art such as music and even just writing or drawing. Expression is a core INFP trait and it's what makes us very special. Now what us INFPs must all agree to do is to not only observe your own type, but to observe other types in the world and how our vibe will fit in with theirs, and what also we bring to the table. INFPs are naturally sensitive people. That means we emotionally connect to many things that connect with us. That can be the plants in your room, the sky, the weather, your friends, best friends, or anyone that steps in the house of an INFP. Does this mean I'm more hyper-emotional than other types? No. Well, yes, but no. Every type has their own way of processing different emotions, well, due to the fact that literally everyone has different psychologies. So for instance, a sensitive person is more likely to have chemical imbalances due to the different regions of the brain more activated than say the average person's. It can trigger bigger responses, and this is what has created this sort of phenomenon called the highly sensitive person. So for some that may consider sensitivity as just a feeling or some kind of mindset, for some people it genuinely isn't. It is how some people are when it comes to genetics or when it comes to background. It's just some people's brains are tuned differently. So what does this mean if, say, you're not exactly a highly sensitive person, but you still have empathy and emotions? You're just a person, you're a healthy person. It means you've got a really healthy brain chemistry, and that's a really good thing. Now, in highly sensitive people, what can be common is traits that can be associated with creativity and imagination. Due to the fact that those areas in the brains are more activated than others, those areas of the brain is also partially responsible for creating different scenarios and trying to understand how the world works. And it's all about the perception, and it goes back to us, and then we create something emotionally out of it, which is what happens with INFPs. However, just because you're an INFP doesn't always mean you're hyper-emotional. It's just a fact that hyper-emotional people are more likely to be INFPs. I am an INFP and I have lots of friends. In fact, I have a large circle of friends. Am I just an extrovert? Being an INFP means you share the function of FI, which is introverted feeling. By introverted feeling, it means that you have an internal value system. If anyone was out there to violate it, you're not going to be quick to react on it. You're not going to swear at them. You're not going to attack them. You're not going to try and get some sort of negative reaction from them. You're not just going to think about actions, but in fact, you would probably just walk away. Some INFPs accept it when people break their values. Some people will just simply dissociate from that person, which is actually quite common in INFPs. Having introverted feeling can also mean that you prefer one-on-one conversations instead of group discussions. But when you are in a one-on-one conversation, you don't like small talk. You want to talk about stuff that you're passionate about or things that seem to really matter to you. This can be anything in the arts, this could be about nature, or just anything that connects with an INFP. Stereotypically, INFPs tend to kind of stick around in smaller groups of friends. They don't tend to walk around constantly looking for new groups of people to hang out with. They like consistency, and most importantly, they like to just stay with the people they're most comfortable with and people that can allow them to open up and speak and kind of express themselves. However, it does not mean that this stereotype is true. I've known plenty of INFPs that are in large groups of friends, and it sometimes works out for them, you know, like, they still can be themselves. It just says that the people they hang out with just simply allows them to express themselves. However, due to this misconception, a lot of INFPs question their own type, will sometimes think to themselves, am I just an ENFP? Although ENFP is also very similar, we could get to that in a different video, it does not necessarily mean that you're an ENFP. You may be an INFP with a healthy social life. But however, that does not take away the fact that INFPs still need a lot of recharging, as they do share FI, introverted feeling, and being an introvert in itself, yes, you're going to get burnt out in social situations, no matter how much you enjoy them or how many people you hang out with. That does not change, but it's how you feel afterwards. This can be like tiredness, this could like the need to like kind of solitude yourself, or put yourself in solitude. I don't know if that made sense. And this differs between different INFPs. Some may have long social batteries, it might not take long for them to recharge, and for some, it's probably what most of their life is about, just recharging. I overthink a lot. If something happens, like a friend not picking up their phone to answer my call, my coworker staring at me while whispering to others at work, or even when I'm just bored. Like I said before, INFPs are imaginative and idealistic creatures. We share a function called TE, which is extroverted intuition, and it is our auxiliary function, meaning that we may not use it on a day-to-day basis as much as we use FI, but however, we still use them in situations that we feel like it is in need of it, or maybe it just creeps in our mind every now and then. This function is mostly responsible for our imagination and how we simply process the different perspectives of the things that are around us. We are like prediction machines going on and on all the time, trying to constantly create possibilities to guide ourselves to decisions that we may connect with in our values. However, while this may sound like a superpower for an INFP, this also kind of thing can be kind of flawed in its own way. Intuition makes us pay less attention to the things around us, and may even make an INFP kind of get stuck in their heads a little, constantly trying to figure out different possibilities by coming up with different results. Some may be correct, but if our intuition is not well looked after, we will be constantly spitting out inaccurate results, which can make an INFP pretty anxious. And that is simply where overthinking comes from. And because we share the function of FI, we can get pretty bad reactions to those overthoughts, and it can kind of create a big loop. And I will get to that loop in a different video. It is very interesting. It is about the unhealthy side of an INFP. Regardless of its negative traits, this intuition also makes us big picture oriented. We like to think about the future more than the present. So when we sort out something, we don't just write the little details thing. We kind of make a picture in our heads for how we kind of imagine it to be, and we work up to that. Well, that's it. That's my first video about talking about INFP. And I hope you guys have figured out whether or not this type has really suited you guys, or you can relate to anything in the video. I'll be uploading more INFP videos, and I'll be here to help you go through these barriers of life of being an INFP. It can be quite challenging for most INFPs in this world of negativity, but most importantly, I think we all gotta spread positivity in this planet. We gotta help ourselves. Yeah, feel free to comment, talk about your experience of an INFP, how you perceive things, and yeah, that's it. See you later. Pretty anxious.